Today I have a really easy and super delicious recipe for a stewed lamb with eggplants in a Greek style tomato sauce. So to start us off, first things first, a little of my Greek olive oil. And for this, you're gonna go generous. For this, you're gonna start off with half a cup of the Greek extra virgin olive oil. This one in particular here is this year's fresh batch or fresh crop. I brought it in, what could I tell you? It's absolutely fantastic. So I've got 1.5 pounds of lamb chops here. You can use pretty much any cut there's that sizzle, baby. You can use any cut you want and just put them in a single layer in your pot. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna brown them first. Hopefully I can squeeze and get all of them in here in one shot, and I think I can. So once our lamb chops are in, time to season them up. And for this, I'm just gonna use a little bit of salt. Well, a little bit of salt. Well, the lamb can take it. And some pepper here. And just let these go until they brown. So I just flip my chops, and lamb chops that is, and I'm just gonna season them on the other side as well. Just kind of even things out here. And as these are gonna finish browning, what I'm gonna do is start working on the other aspects of this recipe, which is, for example, my onion. So here we're gonna take 1 onion. Now, if you don't know or can't chop an onion, that's totally cool. Now, this is also a recipe that's very forgiving. So if you don't know how to finely chop an onion, or you're not that comfortable with doing that, that is totally fine. Feel free to slice it. All right, so my onion is now chopped, ready to go. Let me just check on my lamb chops here. Yeah, they look like they're pretty much there. All right, let's grab a plate. Pull these out now and just set them aside, because we're going to use that same flavored olive oil that we used to brown our lamb chops to cook down the rest of this recipe. So for this, I'm going to take 1 onion, going to go in there just like that. Nothing complicated. And let that start doing its thing. And there's already, the second that onion hits that the hot oil, bam, it just like wakes it up. I'm gonna take 1 clove of garlic, and that's gonna go in here as well. Nice and easy. Perfect. And just let that kind of work its way down. Now, at this stage of the game, we're going to start working on one of the stars of our show, which is our eggplant. And for this, 1 eggplant will do it. Let me just leave that there. And all you're going to do is you're going to cut this into 4s, and we're going to cut each 4th into a 1/3. So you're making almost like fingers, eggplant fingers. And we're going to just place them in here to start sauteing down. You don't want tiny little pieces either, because what will happen is they'll just disintegrate in the cooking process, and that's not what we want. We want to enjoy the flavor and the essence of the eggplant. So just like that. And these will cook down over the next few minutes. These are fantastic recipes as well for beginners. So if you're like just learning to cook, or you just want to get into like basic Greek cooking, this is definitely the recipe to do. A little bit more salt will go there. A little bit of pepper as well. And just let these, with the onion, let the eggplant and the onions sweat out. As our eggplant's doing its thing, it's releasing its flavors as well. Time to take it to the next step, which is adding our actual flavorings to this. And for this, I like a little bit of heat, so I'm going to do a little chili flake. it is what it is. I'm going to take about a teaspoon of cumin. It's going to go in this. We want flavor. We want to punch it up a little bit. A teaspoon of cinnamon. Make sure you don't get too much cinnamon, but a teaspoon should do it in there. And what's going to happen now is the spices are actually going to open up and release their oils as this cooks down. Now that our spices have been in there for a couple, 3 minutes releasing, I'm going to add some tomato. I'm going to add a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. In this case, my tomatoes are whole. You can use crushed, you can use diced, whatever you like. It's whatever basically you have on hand will totally work. And all you're going to do is break down these tomatoes so that way they're not kind of whole, and you'll speed up the cooking process as well. I'm also going to add about half a cup of water to this just to get it going. And along with this, I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes, put a lid on it, and let this just come to a boil. The next thing is putting back our pork chops into this. So I'm just going to take these and literally submerge them into my sauce, because I want these to braise now for the remainder of the cooking process as well. So this won't take very long. You're probably looking at around 25 to 35 minutes for this to finish it's doing its thing after we finish doing ours. So these are going to go in there just like that. Perfect. Very nice. And then this love juice is going to go in. This is all flavor, so you don't want to be chucking that at all. Now, in terms of adding and building to the depth of flavor, I am going to take some Greek oregano, and it doesn't take much. I'm going to take about a teaspoon of dried Greek oregano is going to go into this, as well as rosemary. Now here's the thing. I happen to have fresh rosemary. I'm going to use it. But here's the thing. If you're like me, I personally prefer using dried oregano and dried rosemary, dried savory. There are certain herbs to me that are better dried than they are fresh. So I'm just going to, what the hell? I'll put one more in here. You know what? Flavor this puppy up proper. So there, just like that. This, my friends, now is ready to do its thing. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to reduce the heat on a medium low and simmer this for about 25 to 35 minutes, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so my lamb and eggplant stew, if you will, is done. Took exactly 30 minutes. Whoa, that's what you're looking for. So now, in terms of plating this thing up, I'm going to take you for a little walk into my childhood, the way my mom used to make this. You know, it's fantastic the way some of the things that I took for granted as a kid growing up, all of a sudden now are something that I'm sharing with you. So take our plate. Very simply, just any plate you want. I've made this with a side of rice. And this is just plain Jane white rice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a kind of cool presentation for this. Now, for those of you that are Greek and know this, this is known as kouparizi. And you're going to take a little bit of olive oil, not much, a little bit, maybe a teaspoon, maybe even less. And you're going to just line the inside of your cup, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to present our rice into this, from this cup. So let me just take this out here, and I'm going to grab a spoon, and I'll show you how this goes. I'm going to take a little bit of my rice and slowly just start filling up your cup and packing, gently packing as you go. And that should do it. Hopefully this works out the way my mother used to do this. So you're going to take this now. And there it is. So that turned out exactly the way I remember it, just like that. Now, in terms of presenting this with our main meal here, let me just grab this. There's like my chaos drawer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start zhuzhing this up with my eggplant all around and my lamb, just like that. Perfect. See where this is going now? This looks absolutely divine, absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to take a little bit of this and very lightly and carefully just pour it over the rice. So in other words, you don't want to like drown the rice, but you just want to kind of accent it and know there's something on there. And along with this, I'm going to take my trusty mizitra, because that's how I roll, and just give this a quick dusting over the top, just like that. Don't need much, just the accent of this. And if you want to have your guests actually think that you actually put in a little bit of an effort, you can just zhuzh it up with a little bit of parsley or even dill or something green to show them, you know what, I actually gave a shit about your meal. So having said that, my friends, this is my cuparizi. Now, typically, let this cool down a little bit, but I'm not going to do this. I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to take a little piece of my lamb, more importantly. And look at this. The lamb, not sure if you guys can see this, but the lamb literally just comes apart. You don't even need a knife for this. This is absolutely fantastic. Holy jumping. Welcome to my childhood. This is exactly the way I remember it. Although, the truth is, I added a little chili flake to this, so it's got a little bit of a kick to it. And there it is. But this is exactly the way I remember it. My eggplant hasn't disintegrated because I cut it in big enough pieces that it stood the test or the duration of the cooking. The rice, I like rice. If you don't like rice, you could also use simple, just keep it with like a little feta cheese and a little bit of fresh Greek crusty bread. Will go absolutely fantastic. Throw a side salad like a marullo salata, like a Greek lettuce salad, and you are absolutely ready to feast. So that's it for this episode on my stewed lamb and eggplant. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Very classic Greek recipe, traditional. Add a little pizzazz to your next dinner. Whether you're serving this for 2 or 12, the recipe can be doubled, tripled, whatever. It is a very, very easy to make recipe. So, again, I thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Share this video for this recipe and so many others. Check me out online as well at kensgreektable.com. And until next time, please take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.